Hi, we've been waiting for you for part two of Rise and Roar with Jana Bullard. If you didn't catch the first part, go back and check it out.
Welcome to the Rise and Roar with the Badass Lioness podcast, where women decide no more mediocrity or abandoning their well-being. I am Janine Emily Smith, your badass host and founder of the Badass Lioness movement. I am a story-to-stage coach and co-host of the TV show Rockstar Diaries Healing Out Loud. Are you ready to level up your standards, rewrite your nervous system, repattern conditioned thinking, and rise into your next chapter? This is the perfect place for you. Everything we share on this podcast is not theory. It is rooted in decades of lived experience that only comes from walking through the fire and coming out changed. Are you ready to turn scars into stories that heal and make a difference? Get ready to rise, revive, and thrive, because the lioness in you is ready to roar. Welcome to the Rise and Roar with the Badass Lioness. I am your badass host, Janine Emily Smith, here in Texas. And today we have the amazing Jana Bullard. You are not going to want to miss. The entire episode is going to be epic. She is an entrepreneur, a seven-figure mentor, best-selling author, a speaker. She has grandkids that we're going to talk about. And her mantra, your story can be the key that unlocks somebody's prison. Welcome, Jana Bullard. Woo!
Today I'm so excited to be here. This is my first. So let's see what happens, but I'm so excited. So thank you for hosting me today. I never work after hours and I never play during hours.
Yep.
No. Balance is actually getting to be where the value's at in the moment.
Yes.
That's
right
actually
there,
what
mic drop.
that's actually what balance is. And that's what this lifestyle has given me.
My husband and I have had that lifestyle since we started our business about 3.5, 4 years ago. It's like no other feeling. It is amazing. Truly, it is the best of the best of the best. And over the last couple years, both on holidays, by the way, we lost a couple family members, a brother and a sister, and we were afforded the chance to go and be with them and help the family. And you took me back to a time in the corporate world, two stories real quick that I'll share that actually sparked me completely getting out of the corporate world. And again, we're not putting down the corporate world. We're just talking about freedom and following God's calling and freedom of time. But I had lost a grandmother, and I remember the company, oh, no, you can't take any time off. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Because she lived in California, and it was the worst feeling ever. And then my cherished aunt, who is really, I won't name companies, but it's a big time company in Redmond, Washington. She was high up, a VP of marketing there. And when her dad, my grandfather, got sick, she brought him home so she could take care of him in between hospital visits. And they would not allow her time to do what she needed to do. So she ended up leaving that company. And I don't want to tell her story for her, but those are two catalyst moments that kind of catapulted us into doing what we're doing. Everybody has a story, like you were saying, but sometimes it's those stories that say, no more, no more. This is life. And it's preventing me from being with those that we cherish by doing the things that we're passionate about in the world, making a difference. So thank you for sharing.
Well, and I think there's a lot of people like I was, Janine, that didn't really realize it was an option. All they knew, I'd worked at the bank my whole life. And like I said, I was in these positions. I learned all my skills. But the skills were in a box where people didn't necessarily want to execute the skills just because they were taught the skills. Versus when you go and you're leading a volunteer army that wants freedom, they will take the skill set and they'll run with it. Versus sometimes when you're in the box of a corporate job or any job, you're checking the boxes off. You're not actually really going into the skill set. So trust me, I didn't wake up and know how to do what I knew how to do. I was just able to truly do it for the first time.
Yes.
Through this venture, through being an entrepreneur. So
Well, let's move on to that entrepreneurship and what you're doing now. Can you talk a little about it? I'm especially interested because of the health products and the wellness factor, because as we get older, things change and we have to change it up along with it in order to have that energy. I talk to you and you're like me in the second, I don't even know if it's the second, third, we're in our next and best chapter of life, but we do need to change things up to have the energy in order to sustain this type of life that we're living. So can we talk about that?
We can. So when I started, I'm actually with a health and wellness company.
Mm-hmm.
We are trademarked the biohacking company now as of a year ago this month. But we've always been in like natural, good supplements, strong food plans, things like that. And people talk about biohacking now, especially like us, since we're the only people that can say we are a biohacking company. Our owner and founder, Rudy Revac, who's right at 80, I call him the OG of biohacking. So when he was in his 20s, which was a long time ago, he believed if he put good nutritional supplements in his body, he would grow healthy. Well, he flies planes and races cars at almost 80 years old. And it was kind of like I was country when country wasn't cool. Rudy was a biohacker when people didn't know what that was, and 20-year-olds didn't take vitamins. He's always opted to swallow a handful of vitamins so he doesn't have to swallow a handful of pills now. Created this company, one, because he believes in nutritional supplementation for your body. We haven't had good quality nutrition in the United States in years and years and years and years, and it only gets worse. And then he also believed if you want time freedom and you want to have an endeavor in a space such as this, you should have a good home where you're treated well and you can live a life of adventure. We have had award-winning products. We have an award-winning probiotic, all the things, because it's not about weight loss. We've been known heavily for weight loss, but it's also about our digestive system is a cesspool of disease. We shouldn't have 30-year-olds with colon cancer in America. Mm-mm. There's something wrong with us. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of it's coming through our food and through the toxins and through the metals in our water and so many other things. And through like some cities have more pollution than others. And St. George, Utah has the cleanest air in the United States, I learned this week. And for people that have had, like they've gained issue from living in cities, they're trying to get to places that have cleaner air. They're trying to clean the products in their homes and all this good kind of stuff. My personal story will tell you a little bit about what that looks like. So when I started, I lost 46 pounds in 5 months. I have always been an emotional eater. They call it food noise now. All that means is if I'm happy, I have a snack. If I'm sad, I have a snack. If I'm worried, I have a snack. If I'm bored, I have a snack. And so, depending on the height of those emotions depends on how many snacks. And a lot of people are like that, especially women. We have a tendency to eat our feelings. And so, but I could manage. And I got really good. I got off migraine medicine, allergy medicine, all sorts of wonderful things. But as I progressed, I maintained, but I'd always have to like, hey, like for this week, like for example, if I went to a conference and ate and had a great time and they treated us so well, I'd come back 5 pounds up, but I could lose it. Mm-hmm. I came back a pound down. But 3 years ago, I hit a wall with menopause and I was already in menopause. Mm-hmm. And this is so much of my female demographic that I love to talk about it. And everything that worked didn't work anymore. And remember, I had to work at it. I wasn't an easy, natural, metabolized person. And I didn't have a thin mindset. I wanted to eat the junk when I felt miserable. And so I hit a wall and nothing worked. And I could literally get bigger while we're talking. You see, I'm eating nothing, but I could get bigger. I started trying to work through that. Then my mom died. Remember what I said about emotional eating. Mm-hmm. I thought if nothing's going to work, I just need to be sad right now. And it was really worse than I thought it was going to be, like with my mom. So it was pretty rough. Finally, about a year ago, I snapped out of that kind of depression, grief part and thought, oh my gosh, Jana, like you got to turn the ship around. Mm-hmm. Janine, nothing helped. I went to my local medical professional. I did all the things that women do. Mm-hmm. They say, oh, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Didn't faze me. Mental clarity, black cloud of doom, no energy. Mm-hmm. If you said, could we talk at 2? I'd say, no, I can talk tomorrow because I have nothing left for you at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And I just got bigger all the time. And I'm a top leader with a health company that couldn't fix herself. So then I started looking into peptides. and I had a couple of friends. I visited with some doctors. I do think there have been some things done very poorly, but it's also very misunderstood. They are something that your body produces already, and they're little commands that tell your body to work the way it's supposed to. And so I started really digging into that. And I even kind of said, I didn't, it wasn't a prayer, but around this last year, when I started looking at how much it was changing people's lives, I was like, we have to be in the peptide space. I had not started one yet. I just knew in my heart, this is a big deal, and I think people are missing it. I didn't pray it. I didn't say anything, but I think it ended up being a prayer. I talked about that from stage because we're in the peptide space now. So I'm going to fast forward to when I actually did start. Immediately, the food noise went away. I have not had food as my master since October 9th for the first time in 57 years. My brain fog lifted that first week, and I became normal again. If you want to chat tonight at 7 o'clock and want me to be able to go into detail, I can. Like, I'm not fuzzy. I'm not whatever. I have energy. I can go because my grandkids were starting to lose me a little bit again because I didn't feel good. And I said I'd never go back there, but menopause had a different plan for me. I just couldn't fix it. And then also the inflammation. Like, if I could pull up my kneecap here real quick, so even like traveling, you're going to have a little bit of swelling. But I had it just working at the desk. It looked like I'd been on a 20-hour flight. All of that was started lifting within 48 hours, right? And then now I've lost 42 pounds in 4 months, and I feel great. And like, you should also start getting like a really menopausal belly. I've always carried mine all over, but I started looking like I was pregnant, and you can't suck that in because it's too big. And then the reality is everybody's beautiful, chosen child of the king.
Yes.
But visceral fat will kill you.
Yes.
It's eating your organs. And I started having gut pain, not in my guts, but in my abdomen. I knew it was visceral fat pushing on my organs, and I couldn't do anything to stop it. And it's changed everything. And then I've got women that are younger that they feel like they have no energy for their children. People think it's only women that are my age and above, or maybe if you start at 40. But I'm telling you, we've done a number on our health in the United States. And I have 20 and 30-year-olds that need as much help as my 50-year-olds.
Yep.
I really do.
Oh, so I'm taking notes because we're in the same age, in the same boat, working. I'm just sitting here laughing because all of these terms that you've brought up, I think what I'm going to do is put them all together. We could work on this together, a resource sheet, because there is so much to unpack here. I do want to talk about the biohacking, just the term and what it means, the United States, and why things are the way they are right now. I know I've learned because things change for me again. The peptides, changing of products. I drink a super shake that every single ingredient in it is produced outside of the United States, and soil and fertile soil and all of that good stuff, because we have destroyed the soil in the United States as far as nutrients. We've overworked our crops and everything like that.
Yes.
But we've got the biohacking, we've got the United States, we've got the menopause and inflammation. We just had a doctor, actually he's not an actual doctor, but he was an NFL. I do want to mention this real quick on the Rockstar Diaries TV. It blew my mind because he was saying a lot of the things you're saying, but he was in the NFL, previously got injured horrendously and lived 20 years in chronic pain, and then set on a mission to find out about inflammation and all of this good stuff. And it is everything that you put in your body. So the brain fog that is caused by inflammation as well. Let's just talk about biohacking just for a minute, just the actual term and what it means.
Biohacking really means, like, you can give some big technical term, but it's actually getting inside the body and starting to address root causes, things that actually make your body start to make a change, and more of a higher level of influence instead of things that are not necessarily helping. Like they really truly get into, so like if you think about like a level 1 biohacking is circadian rhythm. If you will get out, we are not meant to live underneath blue lights and fluorescent lights. If you will get out and you will have some air, put your feet in some ground, and just try to have something natural, then that will help. You know, a second level of like biohacking is when you start taking care of your gut. Like you start to address a real true problem. So biohacking is about going to address real true problems, not band-aids. So like gut health is a big part of that. A second level of biohacking is also a protein focus. Are you getting good things in? And to your point, our clear protein is sourced out of Europe. Because we cannot get a quality protein that does not have enough like chemicals in it.
Exactly.
So it's a premium product because it's a premium product for your body. And then that next level is that precision, to where something in the biohacking peptide space, it's a command. And so it tells your body, it's almost like if you send out an email to 150,000 people, 150,000 people are not going to get it. You maybe only needed me to get it. That's a text message. That's a phone call. It's a direct message that tells your body to drop the inflammation, drop the food noise, drop the whatever. And then, of course, there are some that are not in GLP-1s, where you start working in the like liver detox or mental, not just mental fog, but mental strength and mental protection. There's also those things that start to rejuvenate your cells at the cellular level. So at the end of the day, biohacking is not really about a topical, like superficial treatment. It's about longevity of life. Let's get to root causes. And then the America thing, we're just spoiled. That's the best way I can put it, Janine. If you, and we can stop if you don't, and move on to that. We are an ungrateful nation. We have so much. We're the wealthiest. Even our poorest are wealthiest in the country. And we have just become very comfortable.
Yes.
And then we moved into too much busyness, too much this, all this kind of stuff. So then we're feeding fast food. We're looking for convenience and comfort at every, and through convenience and comfort, nothing good comes.
Hallelujah. Amen. You are speaking my language. People know my story in that I flatlined literally in 2010, and since then I've been on a quest for health, and it's ongoing. It's not just one and done. It's ongoing because your body changes. Like you said, you have to do things different when you get to be a certain age. Everything matters, but I'm so glad you brought that up about our country, because we call it a microwave society where it's like they want to pop some pills to feel better. That just does not happen. It might help for a short period of time. I went through my own journey. You've gone through your own journey. You brought up protein. You know, I did the food elimination diet because I was in so much pain from legitimate injuries. But I was like, I know some of it must have to do with the foods that I'm eating. And I'm not a fast food person. I can't tell you the last time I had a hamburger from a fast food joint. But I learned some key factors when I did that, but that takes patience. It takes a while to do that, right?
It does.
Oh,
and
my
people don't
goodness.
realize that it's not just fast food. And I do think that's when our problem started. I don't remember before the first McDonald's with a quarter burger, which makes me old. I don't remember people that were as unhealthy or as large or as much cancer or anything. I don't remember those things. You see them now, but it's not just that. It's dairy, artificial sugars.
Yes.
It's under eating protein. It's gluten. And so there's things that it's like the oils that things are cooked in. So even if you go out to a restaurant, it may sound good, but if it was cooked in basically a plastic oil, you're still in trouble. You know, so it's so many more things. And then what we used to do is we'd do something called an 8-day jumpstart. Like if you kind of get everything out and go lean and green for a little bit, then if you introduce a little bit of dairy and all of a sudden you're off. You go,
Yep.
okay, dairy is my problem. If you
Yep.
introduce a little bit more of carbs, and carbs are not, a sweet potato is a whole food the Lord made.
Yes.
But some
And
people go,
tastes good.
oh, yeah, it's delicious. We should be able to eat those things without
Yes.
going, oh, I'm eating too many carbs. So I also love just not having to dictate that there was a time and place where people said fruit was bad because it had too much sugar in it. Fruit is amazing. Berries have more antioxidants and a lot more benefits than some of the
Polyphenols,
other
yep.
ones. But fruit's good for you. The Lord made fruit. We shouldn't be telling people don't ever eat a grape.
Yes. No, it's true. I do want to bring that up because I was an extremist growing up. I think I learned that from my mom. In other words, the Atkins diet. I'm not putting that down, because there's so many different labels now to all these different carnivore, where it's heavy on the protein, no carbs, very minimal veggies. And I did not feel good on that. I was in my 20s with zero energy, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't know what I didn't know. I remember the first time where this was, again, many, many years ago, and I was losing weight. It wasn't about you. I mean, you're going to drop the weight, but I was miserable. And I remember taking a drink of cranberry pomegranate juice, and within moments, I felt better. Within moments. And I am no longer an extremist. I believe that everything that God created on this holy earth, just like you mentioned.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I've loved about like just the help that peptides give you, like one that we dropped 2 more today. And one is really helping with liver detox would be a big piece of it. Cellular rejuvenation, and then also heavy antioxidant, right?
Yes.
And so all of that you can adjust. In order, remember I said I could maintain as a hardcore foodie, but I had to always level set. That means I ate veggies and meat a lot of the time. So fast forward, there's a point in time when you've been so restrictive, like what you're talking about, that you're so burned out, you will lose your way. Because you're just, and I kind of got that way to where it's like, it's nice to have some freedom. Now, I am not advocating for heavy fast food, donuts for breakfast. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if I was to meet you in Dallas, we went over for a trip or something, and we wanted to go to the best Mexican food place there, and I wanted to have enchiladas and beans and rice, it would be okay. I don't have to go, well, just bring me some meat and a salad, please.
Right.
So you can kind of enjoy your life while not being, I can do anything I want to, because remember I said we shouldn't have 30-year-olds with colon cancer in the United States. It's in our gut. So what you are putting in your mouth matters no matter what your size is.
Dan Esposito is the name of the guy that was on Rockstar Diaries. And I'm not trying to promote this or anything, but he's fascinating because he's in his late 50s and he's winning world sprint racing because of and he said, he made the comment, I am not perfect. I'm only about 70% practicing what I preach. The other 30%, I'm having fun. I'm going out and I'm eating what I want to eat, but it's that 70% that allows him to live this abundant, full life where he's not in pain. So that's the reason why I bring this up is he talks from a perspective of everything you put into your body, but also the supplements. So I do want to talk about supplements for a minute, the peptides. I'm guessing that there are like supplements or patches in addition, because sometimes we can't get enough of something through the food we eat, especially here in the United States. And I'm a huge proponent of supplements if they work.
Yes. And I love that question because interestingly enough, we are the only company under that biohacking umbrella that you can get a peptide. So you can get a GLP-1, a tirzepatide, a semaglutide, a microdose. You can get glutathione, methylated blue, NAD+. You can get that, but under the same umbrella, you can get the protein that matters, the gut health that matters, the quality vitamins that matter, the omegas that matter. You can get it all in one place. And we are actually the only company that does that.
Ah, okay.
Because it does matter. And so, like I said, not everyone has done the peptide space. And when I say peptide, I'm specifically talking about injectables and stuff. Sometimes people they're talking about a skin cream. No, I'm talking about a command to your body. I'm not talking about a peptide that is not a true peptide. I have said ever since people started using those in the weight loss space specifically, You have to take care of your protein. One, your muscle is your longevity organ. What we have or what we don't have is going to dictate our health at 70 years more than our size. Because like you can be strong and be a little bit bigger, and you can be frail and have no muscle. So that truly does matter. That matters no matter what the situation is. And if you underutilize protein, I don't care if you've had weight loss surgery, you've got a disease, you're depressed and don't eat, which is the opposite of what I would do, or you're on a peptide, you've got to maintain this muscle. So this matters. Gut health matters. I think I've hit that over and over and over, but you've got to be able to take quality products that actually do. I think omegas, I think every person should be on a high quality omega. We've got to protect our health, and then your mind and your brain and your eyes. And then, but you need that good, healthy fat in your body. Like it does so much for us. And so they're just things that matter. And then especially like we have an electrolyte drink that if you're on any sort of a health journey, if your electrolytes are off, you think you're having a heart attack or something, like something's wrong. So maybe you're somebody that works out in a field or you work in a warehouse. True story, because this happened to my husband before that we knew anything about this stuff. It happened. We thought he was having a heart attack. His electrolytes were off. True story. We rushed to an emergency room on vacation, driving about 100 miles an hour. No joke. And then you have if it works at the mitochondria. So many people, and this just breaks my heart, they're pumping energy drinks. They're pumping caffeine, trying to make it for the day. It's a mitochondria problem because your mitochondria is your power bank. And all that stuff is doing is draining your power bank. And it's very expensive. Some people have a $30 a day energy drink because they can't keep their energy up. It's because you're draining your power bank. You're not feeding it. So all of those things truly do matter. So I'm very proud that we are the only company you can actually service all of that in one place.
Well, what we're going to do is include a resource sheet with this podcast. You and I can work on it together. There have been so many golden nuggets and so many things. It's hard to keep them all straight. When you're on the journey, just look at it as a long-term journey, longevity, right? We're in it for the long game. It's not a destination, it's a journey. So I do want to include that resource sheet, and then we can put some QR codes in order to find you. Are there any, as we wrap this up, are there any closing words that you would like to give our audience?
Well, first of all, just thank you for the opportunity to do this and for us to talk about just the vastness of what this is to me, everything from what it's done for my family, finances, because if you don't have anything, you can't give anything.
Right.
And I've been able to be not only give other women and men, but we're definitely predominantly, especially in the partner field, female. I've been able to give them health and just like, I've got a stay-at-home mom. She said she made the most money she's ever made last month, and she's getting to raise her own children. And then I've got people just like me that they're like, I had a woman that messaged me and she said, my daughter, and this woman's about my age, she said, I was really struggling. I was kind of starting to really battle some of the menopause stuff, and I was so stuck. But my daughter has been battling PCOS. She's young. She's vibrant. She was lost, miserable, and nothing worked. And they pretty much told her nothing was going to help her. They have both, since November and joining me with the peptides, have found health again. So I would say your story can be the key to unlock somebody's prison. There are people that need somebody to be on a wellness journey with me. And there are people that say, I really need to be on a business journey with her. And if none of those places are good for you, just remember, find health, find freedom in a place that resonates with you, because without those two, you don't have much left.
You don't. I agree. Thank you. Thank you, Jana Bullard. This has been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you again. And we're going to sign out now with the Rise and Roar with the Badass Lioness. This is Janine Emily Smith, your Badass Lioness host. Thank you for tuning in today. Our goal here, Lioness, is to help you in the most authentic way show up as the most authentic you. Please help spread the word to all women who need this. Subscribe and leave a 5-star review if you would, so we could be heard through all the noise. Please send to a friend who needs this. Love you. See you next time, Lioness.